Just because you're in a situation that you don't like or a situation that's not ideal, it doesn't mean that God has forgotten you. See, God may not always get you out of a situation, but he's going to get you through it. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. God allowed for Daniel to be put into the lion's den. But what God did in that moment is whether he sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lion. And the very thing that should have devoured Daniel, the very thing that he should have been afraid of, he ended up using as a bed and a pillow. I think about the three Hebrew boys, how they were thrown into the fiery furnace. God didn't keep them from getting thrown into the furnace. But what God did is what God showed up in the midst of the fire to keep them from being burned. And I just want to tell you guys today that is some of you guys' testimony. That God didn't get you out so that he can show up in the midst of the situation. See, it's easy for God to get you out of something. It's easy for you to have the faith for God to get you out of something. But it's a completely different story when God allows you to go through it, but he shows up in the midst of your situation. And the reason why he allows that is so that you can have a greater revelation of who he is and a greater revelation of the power that he carries. Just because he didn't show up when you thought he should or how you thought he should doesn't mean that God is not going to show up. See, God is all knowing and God knows exactly what you need and how you need it. So don't try to dictate the way that God shows up in your circumstance. Don't try to dictate the situations that you end up in, because life is just unfair. We live in a broken world. But just know that however God chooses to show up, he's going to get the glory and he's going to show that he's been with you the entire time. And just like the three Hebrew boys, just like Daniel, you're not going to even look like what you went through. So I just want to challenge you guys today to keep the faith, trust God, and know that he has not forgotten about you. God bless.